اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Hasbunallahu ni'mal wakil, ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir la'in rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. Sayyidina wa Maulana Abul Qasim Muhammad. Wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin al-ma'sumin. Siyuma baqiyatullah al-a'zam. Ruhi wa arwahul alameen lahul fida. Rabbish rahli sadri wa yassirli amri wa ahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. The subject is real Islam. We want to find out what real Islam is. The one that Allah says, Inna deena indallahi al-Islam. That the deen with Allah is Islam. We want to find out the religion that Rasulullah brought and that Ahlulbait taught and that Imam Hussein gave his life for. Because there are different versions of Islam that came about, fabricated, made by people that look like Islam, but they're not Islam. Allah calls it in this ayat of the Quran where He says, وَمَن يَبْتَغِي غَيْرُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. Someone who accepts غَيْرُ Islam, other than Islam, the wrong Islam, the fake Islam as their deen, فَلَن يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. It will not be accepted from him. So we do not want to die practicing a fake Islam or a fake ideology or a fake version of Allah's deen. We want to know the actual deen itself and hence be aware of the fake ones, so at least we know that we are not on the ones that are wrong. So that's what we are discussing in this time. There was a time after Fath Makkah, when Makkah was conquered by the Prophet and the Muslims, that the Muslims sat around the Kaaba rejoicing in their victory. And they were happy that now they are in Makkah and that they have conquered Makkah and that Makkah has become a Muslim place that it's supposed to be, where the Kaaba has been built. And they sit next to the Kaaba now, having conquered it and cleaned it of all the idols and the pagan worship that was in there. Cleansed the Kaaba and Makkah of the kuffar. And Rasulullah saw that the people are rejoicing and are happy. And something came to his mind. Him being the Prophet looked at this as an opportunity to give an important message to the people. He came there amongst them and quietened them, silenced them, and said and declared that Innal Islam bada'a ghariban wa sayaudu ghariban wa fatuba lil ghuraba. He announced to the people. He said that Islam began gharib. Now, gharib is the Arabic word of gharib. Gharib means foreign, unknown, misunderstood, not understood. For example, when you go to a foreign land or a foreign country where you don't speak the language and the people don't speak your language, how difficult it is to communicate. What you say is not understood and what they say you don't understand. And hence you see the big gap that's there in between you and the people, or at least making them understand what you want. That's known as gharib. You are gharib there. You are a foreigner, not understood. Allah here Rasulullah is saying that Islam began gharib, that it was not understood, that people did not understand it. People questioned it. They could not fathom the ideas Islam was given. They could not make logic or a sense of what Islam was saying. because their logic was so far away, the principles they lived their life on was so far away that they could not understand what Islam is saying, what Rasulullah is saying. And that's why they conflicted with it, they fought with it, they resisted it. They did not want Islam because Islam was foreign to them. Rasulullah is saying Islam began like that. Remember, in Mecca, it wasn't long ago that the same Mecca was a place where Islam was resisted and was opposed, and the Muslims were persecuted and killed. You just remember, it didn't happen a long time ago. Now we conquered it. Yes, now everyone knows Islam, but it began like that. That's how Islam began. But then Rasulullah says, as a warning to everyone, فَسَيَعُودُ غَرِيبًا, Islam will soon become gharib again. It will go back to being foreign and not understood. There will come a time when Islam will not be understood. And here Rasulullah is warning about a time that will come, which we know as Ahlulbait, the end times. And this is a time when you see that Rasulullah is saying Islam will not be understood. It will be foreign. It will be resisted. People will oppose it. Two ways. At the beginning it was like that, and then as soon a time will come, meaning Ahlulbait, it will become like that again. But the difference is that at the beginning, Islam was opposed by kuffar, by mushrikeen, by idol worshippers, by the Jahiliyyat of Mecca. They are the ones who opposed Islam. Abu Jahl opposed Islam. Abu Sufyan opposed Islam. But at the end of times, in Ahlulbait, Islam will be opposed and not understood and resisted by Muslims. Muslims will be the one who will now question Islam. Muslims will be the one who will challenge Islam. Muslims will be the one who will oppose Islam. Islam will become so strange to them that they do not want to accept it. It doesn't make sense to them anymore. They do not want to practice it anymore, or they look at it as being foreign and says this cannot be Islam. It will be Muslims who take upon the character of Abu Jahl and Abu Sufyan, who stood up to oppose Islam. Muslims will play that role. The Abu Jahls of the time will be Muslims who will look at Islam and say, what is this? I don't believe in that. That doesn't make sense to me. It cannot be Allah's deen. If that is Allah's deen, I don't want it. That's how it is. And that's how it's going to become now in Ahlulbait. And real Islam is going to become gharib. It's going to become something that only a few people will practice. Few people will live their lives according to the way Rasulullah lived it, according to the way Ahlulbait taught to live it. Few people will do that. Everyone else would have gone, and they will be the one challenging Islam and Muslims. True Islam will live in the minority. True Islam will be amongst the few. True Islam will become foreign to the Muslim world. That a time will come that when we want to practice Allah's deen, it will become so difficult, not because kuffar are against it, it's Muslims who are going to question, why is pork haram? Why is alcohol haram? Why is mixed gatherings haram? Why is it not right for men and women to be together? We are civilized people. We are living in the 21st century. This is for the time of those days, in the medieval times. That's when this is for. This is how the approach is going to become. People are going to become such that they don't want that Islam anymore. And the people who practice it will be regarded as strangers. Yes, someone who practices what Rasulullah used to practice and live his life like that, it will be strange. And that's the problem that we have right now. But good news. Rasulullah gives good news, and I want to give that good news to those who do practice Islam and who do stick to Islam and stick to the sunnah of Rasulullah and the seerat of the A'immah. Those who stick to it are few, but Rasulullah gives them good news. He says, Fatuba lil ghuraba. Yes, I give you the glad tidings of Jannat for those who are ghuraba, who are gharib. People who are gharib and not understood and who will be a minority at that time. I'm giving you the glad tidings of Jannat. You who practiced Islam and stuck to the way of the Prophet and the Imams, they who loved Rasulullah and Ahlulbait and the way of Ahlulbait and obeyed them, even when everyone was opposing them, their own family members are opposing them, their own relatives are opposing them, and you can see this happening, especially in the West and also other places also. But I'm particularly talking about us in America. You see a person, a girl who learns about hijab and wants to wear hijab. Who's the one who stops her? The school teacher at school? No, it is her own parents who stop her from wearing hijab. That school teacher is okay with the hijab. He says, fine, that's your culture, that's your religion, that's fine with me. But it's the parents who stop them from doing that. Where's the opposition for Islam coming from? A boy who in his high school starts to keep his beard and prays and starts being modest. You see who stops them? It is the parents who freak out. What's going on with our child? He's becoming radical. And they take him away from the influence of Muslims and Islam and take him away from the masjid so that he can become normal again, in quotes. This is the problem that right now we see, that Islam has become gharib right now. And this is what the distortions have done to Islam. So many people have made their versions of Islam and have taken Islam from where its base is and where the reference point it is. It has gone so far away from there that now that reference point and that way has become foreign, has become a stranger for all of us. And this is Ahlul-Zaman that we are living in. And to find true Islam there, real Islam in this situation, is a challenge. And if we find it, then to practice it and stick with it is an even greater challenge. It is even harder, more difficult for people to stick to that path. Yes, we saw it after the revolution happened in Iran. We saw the difference here in America, that people started learning that there's something called taqleed, there's something called ulama, there's something called ahkam. Before that, no one cared. Everyone ate at McDonald's. It didn't matter. But now, afterwards, when ulama started coming and we started learning, we knew that this is haram and this is halal. The only haram and halal we had at that time, I remember growing up here, was that pork is haram and alcohol is haram. Everything else was okay. And this is how it happens. And that too, alcohol was okay on special events like New Year's Eve. And mu'mineen used to take part in that. This how Islam was. Now that revolution happened and there was a wave of change that came about in our people here, in Shias here in America, we went through a lot of hard times trying to practice Islam, trying to tell our own people that, listen, this is wajib, this is haram. And there used to be big arguments regarding this. Mixed gatherings are haram. We can't be mixing like this without hijab. And what happened? There was a lot of uproar and dissent and opposition from our own people regarding this. And even today there is. They still hold a lot of rancor in their hearts for all of this. They said, this is not Islam that we practice. And this is why we see Rasulullah's words that following Islam and real Islam in the days and times that we are living is a challenge and very difficult. Let me just go now to what Rasulullah said thereafter, after saying this. And he explained this and he went into detail about Akhir-az-Zaman. Some of the things that will happen to Islam and Muslims in Akhir-az-Zaman. Let me go through that and we get the idea of the shape that Islam is going to take. Not real Islam, but fake Islam. Rasulullah exposed the fake Islam and the face of that fake Islam so that we can be aware of it. So let us go right away into these hadiths of the Prophet that he then started to explain in that time at the end of his time, at the end of his life. Believers. He says that the believers, mu'mineen, are going to be regarded as hakir and backward and uneducated. People who are backward, uncivilized. That's how mu'mineen will be regarded. And fasiq, those who are wicked and openly sin, will be respected and honored. By whom? By believers. Mu'mineen will honor people who are fasiq. People who openly sin will be respected, and those who practice the deen and follow it will be regarded as backward, and they will be regarded as someone who is uncivilized. They will be put down, disrespected. Look at the world right now, and you see this amongst mu'mineen, and you will see this everywhere you go. People who are wicked, people who are fasiq, everyone is like okay with them. But when it comes to mu'mineen who practice Islam and who stop and who do amr bil ma'ruf nahi anil munkar, right away people are ready to put them down, and they do not even show them the respect. This is the case. What will happen to these believers at the end of time? It is said that Rasulullah said their children will be filthy, rude, and ill-mannered. This will be the situation of the children of believers in Akhir-uz-Zaman. Not the real mu'mineen, but these other vast mu'mineen who are following a fake Islam. Their children will be rude, they will be ill-mannered, and they will be filthy. Really, nowadays when you look at the children and the way that they behave with their parents, if this was in the time of Rasulullah or the Imams, they would not tolerate such behavior. Even if you look at in true Muslim societies, they will not tolerate such behavior of children with their parents talking back to their parents. If a child talks loudly in front of their parents, the whole society, the whole community will get upset at that. And they will be up in arms against such a show of ill manners. So this is Rasulullah speaking. Now I'm not going to go in detail, just a little bit about everything, so that we can go through this, and inshallah whatever is left will go in the next speech that we have on Sunday. Tomorrow will be Ashura, and we will just do the Masahib tomorrow, and I will continue this on Sunday, and hopefully we will get to the rest of the things. But next he says that at first he said the children will be filthy, rude, and ill-mannered. Then he says their wives will be impudent and shameless. The wives of believers will be arrogant, impudent, and shameless. They will have no respect for the wilayat of their husband. They will have no care for what the husband says or stands for. They will have no problem in disobeying him. Not only disobeying him, they will use the right of the husband to just put him down and to make him get on his knees. And men will read more about this, but that's what he's saying. The wives are going to be impudent, arrogant, and shameless in Akhir-uz-Zaman. And then he says, taking refuge in believers will be humiliating. Trusting them will be humiliating. And asking them for something, God forbid, asking them for something is a source of misery and shame. If you are in need, you will see that asking anything from believers and mu'mineen in Akhir-uz-Zaman will be a source of shame and humiliation. They will put you down and they will humiliate you before they give you anything. Look at what happened nowadays. When masjid, a center, a Husainiya needs money and they go to people, the humiliation that they have to go to just to get a donation. This is Akhir-uz-Zaman. These are the believers. They don't realize, for them, they don't see that giving money is something that they are doing and they regard you as a beggar. They don't look at it as, wow, this is my opportunity to earn Jannat or earn Ajr. Though they look at it as an opportunity to get their upper hand and put you down for even asking. That's why you see the environment will be such that you will ask a non-believer for money or something that you need, but you will be hesitant to ask a believer. Isn't it? That's what's happening now. Look at it and see. Asking a believer for something, a mu'min brother, or anyone, for something is like humiliating. And we don't even ask. We don't even want to ask over there. We would rather go to non-Muslims and ask them, while it should have been the other way around. In real Islam, a mu'min brother is someone that not only do you need to ask him, you can just put your hand in his pocket and take whatever you need. Even without his permission, you can just take it. That's how believers should be with each other. But this is Akhir-uz-Zaman, where it will be a shame to ask a mu'min brother. This is scary. This is what Rasulullah is saying. It will be humiliating. He goes forward in another hadith. He says that there will come a time when people, their bellies are going to be their gods. Meaning their God is not Allah, their God is going to be their belly. Whatever the belly says, yes, whatever your belly says, that's what you will do. You live for it and you serve it. And all the fears that you have is of not feeding it, of it going through starvation. And that's your whole life is led for that reason. I'm not saying you, mashallah, all of you mu'mineen are here on Shabi Ashura, different. I'm talking about the mu'mineen that Rasulullah is talking about. And this is something that we need to be aware of so that we can avoid being that. We can avoid being that and make ourselves those people who are ghareeb now. Because that's what real Islam is going to be, ghareeb. And real mu'mineen are going to be ghareeb in Akhir-uz-Zaman. That's how it is. So what's he saying? That their bellies are going to be guards. Their wives are going to be their qibla. Yes, the qibla is not the Kaaba in Mecca or the house of Allah. The qibla is the wife. They will worship in the direction of the wife. The wife will be the whole and soul. And this is shameful. It is shameful. The man was given the wilayat in the house so that he can bring his wife and children along with him to worship Allah. That's what he was given this right. And now when the wali himself is worshipping those who are under him or those who are behind him, then leave the rest of them. Where are they going to go? This is the situation. Their wives are going to become their qibla. Their money is going to become their deen. Their deen is their money. They will follow money. They will obey money. Whatever they do in their life is based on their bank account and money. That is Akhir-uz-Zaman. Their deen will be that. It won't be Islam. It won't be the hukum of Allah. It won't be what Allah says. It will be money and wealth that mu'mineen will be running after. This is that fake Islam. This is the fake Islam that is there. And they will consider worldly goods as a source of honor, prestige, and value. They give value to worldly goods, meaning the importance of mu'mineen, the importance of who a better mu'min is and who's not a better mu'min is based not on their taqwa, on their piety, on their practice of Islam, and how good they are in their character, their honesty and trustworthiness, nothing. The value of a mu'min in Akhir-uz-Zaman will be based on how much assets he has, how big his business is, how much is his income. When you look at his income, that's how much value is going to be given to him. People will respect a person who has money. Someone who doesn't have money, they will not respect him. A mu'min who doesn't have money, he will not be respected. A mu'min who has money, they will be looked up to. And this is the reality of what's happening. Whenever I saw many people became Muslim in America and Shia in America. And you know what? Most of these people who became Shia and mu'min were not financially well off. In fact, they were in the lower side of, you can say, incomes. And this is the case in Makkah also. When people became Muslims in Makkah, they were not the rich people who become, Abu Sufyan's didn't become Muslim, Abu Jahl's didn't become Muslim. It was the slaves and the poor people who became Muslim. They're the ones who became Muslim. At that time, Rasul, and you know what? Rasulullah did not make any distinction, but people did. They looked, the kuffar used to look at that and they used to say, what, are we going to become Muslim now with these slaves? These slaves and these low lives, they're the ones who become Muslim, not actual decent people who have good backgrounds and who are educated, not us. This is for them. That religion is for them. That's how they used to view it. Now Muslims view the same way. They would ask that, why are all these poor people becoming Muslim? Why can't, rich people become Muslim? People who have money, people who have a name, why don't they become Muslim? Why are we looking down at people who became Muslim just because they are poor? Because to us, value of a person is not in his faith. It is in the money and the wealth that he possesses. And this is the evil that has taken over. And Rasulullah is warning, though that is the fake Islam. The Islam that looks like the kufr of Makkah, like the kafirs of Makkah who opposed Islam and resisted. They brought the same ideology forward. Now Muslims will have the same ideology in the end of times. And this is what's happening, my friends. Everything, when you look at it, it will go like this. Faith is nothing. Rasulullah says that faith, there will be nothing left of Iman except for its name. A person will not have actual faith in Allah. He will just have a name of that, an outward appearance. That's all it is. There won't be anything inside. Islam is nothing but leftovers. Islam will be just something on their tongue. Finish. That's all it is. We talk about it, we discuss it. And the Quran is nothing but lessons. Yes, everyone takes lessons, reads the Quran, but you know what? That's about it. They look at it as a means of looking good. It's just like that. It's not put in practice. It's not put ahead of us. When we do the amal of the Quran in Laylatul Qadr, you see what we do. We put the Quran on our head. We put the Quran in front of our face to make a resolution that we will always keep the Quran, respect the Quran, and we're going to follow the Quran. We put it on its head to honor and respect it, and we put it in front of us so that we can follow it, that we can practice it. This is why we do that. Now, where does it go? It goes in the shelf, or even if we read it, we just read it so that we can get respect from other people or some sort of applaud from people. That's all that will be left of the Quran. And this is some of the things that Rasulullah has said. And these are the face you can say, of fake Islam that's going to come. And that's happening. And we can see it happening. My friends, that's it. I'm going to stop over here because it's Shab Ashura and it's the night of Ashura, and we want to really give our condolences to Rasulullah, to the Imam of our time, and to Bibi Fatima, and we want to go to the Masayib of Imam Hussain. And we want to make a resolution on this night as we stand witness, and that we give our shahadat and our witness to the fact that we are with Hussain, that we stand with Hussain, and that we cry for Hussain, and that we silmun liman salamakum, wa harbun liman harabakum, that we are going to fight against those who fight Hussein and be with those who are with Hussein, and that our actions, we will make it the same as Imam Hussein. Let us make that resolution tonight, this night that Imam Hussein asked for. Tasu'a, the 9th of Muharram, is a day that Imam Hussein requested this from the army. The fight was going to happen on the 9th. Imam Hussein sent Abbas and asked him to go and request for one day, because Hussein loves to pray to Allah, and I want one night so I can make my prayers to Allah. I can make my prayers and dua to Allah. Hussein asked for this night. This night, Imam Hussein was praying. Yes, my friends, before he went to make his khalwat in isolation with Allah, he first gathered the companions, brought them together, and told them everything that's going to happen tomorrow. He told them that tomorrow everyone is going to die. He said, you don't have to be with me. You don't have to be with me. I am asking you to leave me. Leave me right now. Let me be here alone. The companions sat there in one tent together with Imam Hussein, a candle in front of him. Everyone sitting around. Imam Hussein said that this is my war. They want to fight me and kill me. I don't want anyone to be killed, so you all go. No one moved from their place. Imam Hussein said that if you are afraid that you made bay'at to me and that this bay'at is holding you back, then I take my bay'at away from you and free you from allegiance. Now you may go. Everyone still sat there. They did not move. Then Hussein said, if you want, if this is what you want, if you're afraid that you will not go to heaven, if you're afraid of that, then let me assure you, me being the master of heaven, Allah has made me Sayyid-e Shabab Ahlul Jannah. Allah has made me that and given me that honor that I am the master of heaven. I assure you, each and every one of you will be in heaven with me. Everyone will be in heaven with me. I assure you that, Hussein told them. And they said nothing. Everyone just sat there. Sounds of cries coming. Slow whispers of cries coming. As they start crying, Hussein said that if you are afraid that I will die with my children here, then here's what you do. Take my children and you all go. Take my children. I will die alone tomorrow. Take my children and go so you don't feel sad that you left me with my children. And they started crying now. Imam Hussein then said, all right, you know what? Maybe you are ashamed of leaving because people will see that you have left. I am going to shut this candle and the light will be turned off. And you can go in the darkness. No one is going to know you. No one is going to judge you. Go. You can go. You are free to go. And he shut the light. He shut the light, closed the candle, and then waited. Everyone now in that darkness sat there and started crying. Everyone was crying. Hussein turned the lights on. It was Muslim ibn Usajah or Abbas who stood up first and who said, Hussein, how can we leave you? How can we leave you? If we leave you, what will we say to your mother on the day of judgment, that we left your son to die? Muslim ibn Usajah said that if I am killed tomorrow and if I am raised and brought back to life and killed again, and this happens 70 times, I will still be with you, Hussein. Everyone gave their testimony that night. And if that's the case, Hussein just looked at them and said, so be it. So be it. if that is the case, I will leave you now. I will leave you to go. Hussein, then some of the soldiers went with Imam Hussein, and they came there to the tent where Imam Hussein now is going to meet his family. He goes to the tent. Imam Hussein goes there. As soon as he goes inside, Zainab was there behind the tent door waiting for Imam Hussein. As soon as Hussein came, Zainab brought forth her concerns. She said, brother, are they true? Are they honest? Are they going to stick with you, or are they going to run away? Because Zainab is experienced as to what happened to Imam Hassan and Imam Ali, that Imam Hassan was betrayed. She is afraid that Hussein will be betrayed also. When she raised these concerns, it was Burair who heard Bibi Zainab, Hazrat Zainab, say this. He heard her say this, and he became so enraged. He went back and told Habib. He told Habib ibn Madahir that, Habib, the ladies of Hussein are doubtful about our faith. They are doubting about our faith. Let's go there and show them that we need to do something to give them itminan and to make sure that they have comfort in us, that we are not going to run away from Hussein. So they all came, all the companions, they came there, and they went to the camp. Abbas said, where are you going? And Habib said, Abbas, this is not for you. You are the family. Leave here. These are only the companions who are going. We have to speak to Hussein. They went there to the tent and called Imam Hussein out. Hussein, we want a few words with you. Imam Hussein came out and said, what happened? We just talked with each other. He says, Hussein, we heard that the ladies are concerned that we might run away, that we might betray you, that we might backstab you and run away from you. We want to show them that we are here to stay and that we will die here before we leave you. Then Imam Hussein called Zainab. He said, and when Zainab came there, Imam Hussein told the other ones, wait. He called Ruqayya, he called Sukaina, his daughters. He says, you also listen to what they say, because the girls are also concerned. I want you to listen also to what the companions say. Then Habib ibn Mazahir, as the companions take out their swords, they took out the swords, put the swords on their neck, and said, if you ladies are concerned that we are going to leave Hussein, then we are going to cut our heads right now and show you that we are not going to betray Hussein and run away from him tomorrow, that we will fight and die with him and die before anything happens to Hussein. We will give our last blood in the way of Hussein. And they spoke to them. Zainab became at ease. Sukaila became at ease. Ruqayya became at ease and comforted. But you see, my friends, just one last thing I will mention, and you give your condolences. At that time, these companions who stood there and spoke to Zainab was behind the door of the tent. These men were on this side of the tent. I want to give my salam to Zainab. Zainab, this is the last time that you are going to deal with men who are following Islam and have iman and have the decency to observe your hijab, because from tomorrow your hijab will not be observed. Those demons that are out there are going to come and they are going to take that hijab of yours. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. يا محمود بحق محمد، يا الله بحق علي، يا فاطر السماوات بحق فاطمة، يا محسن بحق حسن، يا قديم الإحسان بحق حسين. Oh Allah, give us the tawfiq to be on the right path. Give us the wisdom to understand your guidance. Hasten the reappearance of our Imam. Make us his helper when he comes. We ask you, O Allah, that all these mu'mineen who are listening and who are here, who are unable to come together, and their heartfelt wish is that they could come together, but they are not able to come together because of the restrictions, because of this virus. Allah, we ask you that all these mu'mineen who are here, you give them the tawfiq and the shafa'at, and give them protection, and make sure that these people are counted amongst the guests of Imam Hussein and Fatima. As these people are here and they shed their tears on this night of Ashura, give them as many blessings as we can, and make their feet firm on the path of Islam and the path of Ahlulbait. Give them strength in their arms, so that they can hold up the flag of Islam. All these mu'mineen who are here, make them such that their Imam can be proud of them, that Fatima can be proud of them, and make them such that they can be there to help the Imam when he comes back. We ask you to hasten the reappearance of our Imam on this night and tomorrow as we do the azah of Imam Hussein. And we ask you that you increase the ajr of all these mu'mineen on this day. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصائبنا بالحسين.
اللهم صل على